Hi guys, thank you so much for clicking onto my video. My name is Ryan. My page is all about health, wealth and personal development. If you've clicked onto today's video, you know I'm going to be talking about abs. I'm going to talk about my ab routine. I'm going to be talking about ab training in general. I hope you enjoyed the video. So the first thing you need to know about abs is you need to have the body fat to be able to show your abs. So thinking about it logically, if you're someone who has a lot of body fat around your waist, if you're a man who doesn't have low body fat, that is typically where we store our fat. So you need to think about your nutrition, you need to think about getting into a calorie deficit so that you can lose the fat and show your sculpted abs. Personal recommendations are calorie tracking apps. These will give you accountability for what you're eating on a day-to-day basis and make sure that one, you're not overeating, and two, you're not undereating. It's quite surprising how much food you can eat when you're on a calorie deficit. So at maintenance, I'm around about 3,000 calories. For a calorie deficit, I'll be about 2,600, and that's still quite a lot of food for me. As I fast till midday, I'm still having to eat quite a lot of food until I go to bed at night. So definitely get yourself a calorie tracking app, and that will give you accountability and help you reach your body fat goals nice and quickly. So a second tool I will use as an effective method to get to a lower body fat is interval training. So high intensity interval training is something where you'll work sub-maximally for a short period of time and then you'll have a double that extended rests. This could be sprints, ladder runs, or conditioning pieces that you put together using either body weight or loaded exercises. And I find that not only are you engaging your core, so you're getting extended ab training with this, but you're putting your body through such high stress that it's causing such a metabolic demand, and then in turn that energy will be used in the form of fat being shed. So moving on to ab training, I'm going to look at this in two ways. I'm going to look at first anatomy and then functionality. So the anatomy of your abs or your core, you've got your obliques that run down the side of your torso. You've got your rectus abdominis, known as your abs, is your six-pack that runs flat down your belly, through your belly button. Then you have your transverse abdominis, which is what some people will call your bell, and this is what gives you the nice flat stomach. But then you also have muscles that assist your obliques called the serratus, and this is something that helps stabilize the shoulders, and you often see this muscle being activated in pushing motions. Secondly, functionality. This is how you'll train the individual muscle groups, and these are the movements that you will see when you're performing each ab exercises. There are hundreds and hundreds of ab exercises out there, and each one of them serves a different purpose. So what I'm going to tell you right now is my individual approach from a subjective point of view, and that works for me. This might not work for everyone. Let me give you a little bit of background. So I was around about 14 when I started ab training, and when I was ab training I was doing spine flexion, so crunches, every single time I trained. I was doing 50 crunches a night, probably from 14 to 18. At 18, I got quite a severe injury in my spine, a bulged disc or herniated disc, through playing sport. And this, if I was to give my opinion on it, was down to the fact that I overly trained my rectus abdominis, so my front, and then didn't really think about training any other part to balance this out. So this is where balanced ab training is vital for injury prevention. A lot of top level athletes will train their core, and they'll train core stability. You'll see that a lot of forums and a lot of health professionals will emphasize the fact that core is worked through using compound lifts and core is worked through using resistance training. This is true, but isolated core exercises will help in the performance of these compound lifts and the athletic movements. So this is where I'm going to go through some of my recommendations for core training. So first of all, I'd say core stability is the most important thing. So core stability can be trained using things like McGill Big 3, it can be trained using anti-rotational movements and anti-extension movements, and this will just give you a nice, strong, solid core, allowing your spine to stay in the proper alignment when you're performing these lifts and to prevent injury. Moving on to the next element, the rectus abdominis is your six-pack muscles. So these are worked through using top-down movements and bottom-up movements, and some of the movements that I will use for training this particular muscle group is hanging leg raises, or any movements that require bringing your femur, so your thigh bone, towards your rib cage. So engaging your core and bringing those two bones together, or bringing your thigh muscles to your chest muscles, will really engage and contract those muscles and work them adequately. In addition to that, top-down movements can help also. So rather than just your crunches, where people will use just one exercise and expect it to work a whole broad range of muscle groups, that's not really going to be the case. It's just going to be overemphasized, and you won't have a complete balanced conditioned shape. Next is the obliques. These can be trained through using rotational movements such as med ball slams or banded twists. You could do V-ups, you could do canoes, you could do so many exercises that will target the obliques. The forceful movement, if you look at boxers, a lot of boxers will have really defined obliques, and that is the muscle group in the abs that basically looks like they're shredded as a shark down the side of their body. These will be achieved through all of the twisting motions that they'll use when punching. And the secret weapon is resistance. So this could be in the form of resistance bands, med balls, slam balls, or weighted plates or dumbbells, anything that adds extra resistance to your body. Just like when you're using resistance training, you're causing the stimulus to grow more muscle, the same as your abdominal muscles. You want to create a nice, thick, dark line between them to show that they're defined, and that's the way to do it. So that's pretty much it in regards to the way I approach ab training, and I'm going to leave you with some actionable points. So the way I approach ab training on a programming scale is I'll include at least 2 isolated core sets per workout, and these will range across the spectrum of functionality, so either top down, bottom up, anti-rotational. This could be in the form of standing rotation, lying rotation, seated rotation. So it's all about mixing it up and making sure that you include a broad spectrum of exercises in your workouts. Always include resistance. So bands are often my go-to for, especially for rotational movements and anti-rotational movements. Ankle weights for bottom-up movements. So hanging leg raises with ankle weights are perfect. If you're someone who maybe a little less advanced to using hanging leg raises, you could do iso crunches, so reverse crunches, or you could do lying leg raises or heels to the heavens. But if you put some weight on your ankles, it's going to give you that resistance that will cause a greater response. So include 2 ab exercises per workout. Always go to failure on your abs. There's no point in counting. If you're someone who likes counting, maybe count to 20 and then just go to failure. Always remember form. When you're performing ab training, I know this is something that a lot of bodybuilders will definitely promote. Think of muscle-mind connection, so really contracting your abs, and that's going to create a greater stimulus on your abdominal muscles. If you're someone who always says, oh, I'm going to train abs at the end of a session, and you never get around to it, put them at the beginning of the session. Not only will there be a fantastic way of bolstering out a warm-up, but they'll definitely serve a purpose, because you'll get better bang for your buck out of those ab training at the beginning of a session. And finally, think about injury prevention when you're performing your ab exercises. So my top 5 injury prevention ab exercises are farmer's carries. You're bracing your core the whole way you're doing that, so they're brilliant, and they're good at targeting the serratus, because for scapular control, you need to target the serratus to ensure that not only is it linking into the obliques, but it's also allowing your shoulder blades to glide freely and naturally. 2, it will have to be the McGill Big 3. That could probably be 2, 3 and 4. So those 3 movements are brilliant for ensuring your spine does what it's supposed to do and doesn't do what it's not supposed to do. So it really brilliant in preventing injury, especially for someone who's had a bad back in the past. I use that pretty much in every warm-up, and it's fantastic to get in your spine prepped for the actions and the movements of the workout. And finally, isometric holds. These are fantastic for bracing. Some people use planks. I don't think planks are the best method. I feel that if you're going to do a plank, add another movement into it. So either a knee to an elbow, or a rotation, or get a dumbbell in your hand and perform a rotation, or a one-arm plank, or even with a plank with a scapular retraction. That'll target your serratus and get your scaps warmed up for any overhead pushing, vertical pushing, horizontal pushing, any kind of pushing. So they're my top recommendations. So add 2 abs exercises into your workout, perform them to failure, and include prehab movements in order to ensure that your training is long and it doesn't get cut short by injury. So that's my video on abs, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're someone who feels that you got something out of this, please like, please comment and ask me what you want for the next video. Thank you so much to Jaack, who asked me about putting a video together for my ab training. It's something I wouldn't really thought of doing. Please share if you feel that anyone else could get anything out of this video. And until next time, guys, enjoy your week, and I'll catch you later.